Hey there, you little mermaid. Okay, this is going to be chapter 3 of Escape to Mars. Escape to Mars. I told you before that the chapters kind of go back and forth. Billy writes one, Amber writes one. They don't always go back and forth, but mostly. So we heard from Billy in chapter 1. We heard from Amber in chapter 2. We hear from Billy again in chapter 3. So here he goes. Girl talk. If I'd have told her what she really smelled like, she wouldn't have liked it that much better. My mom immediately took the stinky creature into her angelic care. I don't think there was anything in that room but tables and chairs, but Mom convinced the very walls and tiled floor to hand over a whole shower and laundry for old Smelly Pants. Before I could finish my second hot dog from the hallway vending machine, Mom had worked her magic, and I had to put up with introductions and all that. Billy, this is Amber, Mom said with delight, and a secret tone in her voice that said I'd better be nice or she'd lick me right there. If I'd ever doubted that my mom was an angel, I was sure of it now. That stinky little thing had come in the door 3 minutes before, was all cleaned and pressed and ribboned and curled. Of course, she wouldn't smile at me, but she was only on her first lesson in Mom's training program. Hi, Amber, your pigtails are pretty. Mom always said to say something nice about a girl, but I don't see the point. They don't take to it well, and they've got enough vinegar stored up in their girl glands to squirt every boy on the block right in the eye, pretty pigtails or no. And they don't mind fighting dirty. Here I am, tied up with rules and regulations and be nice orders, while my mom is watching me, and little Miss Toilet Bowl can be as nasty as she wants. I hope I'm not offending your delicate sense of smell, said Miss Smarty Pants. Of course, the words don't seem so bad when you write them down on paper, but you've got to imagine every syllable spoken by that inborn feminine demon, not to mention that smirk on her washed-up face. I sniffed the air a couple times. I can't smell you over the mustard, so you can't be too bad. Billy, Mom said in a withering tone, and that was enough for me. I'd sooner take a truckload of Amber's Smarty Pants comments than 2 words of reproach from Mom. The rules were plain enough. Since we were the only 2 kids in the room, we had to make nice and play in the corner while the adults argued about how to make the whole thing work. But Amber didn't know that this whole thing was, or what this whole thing was, so I'll have to back up and tell you what happened in the physics lab. With my box of Pop-Tarts clamped firmly beneath my arm, Mom, Dad, and I ran into the lab. I'd only been there once or twice, and it always seemed empty, slow, and powerfully boring. Today, it was a madhouse. People were dashing around, scribbling on handheld computers as they bumped into one another. This made me wonder if Frogger is some kind of training program for getting around in the office. Anyway, I watched, soaking it all in, and didn't hear the frantic bits of conversation until my mom said, "John, this is crazy. Mars? We can't go to Mars." Mars, I thought. What in the world? Gabe, he said. Her name was Gabriel, just like the angel. He held both her arms with his hands and looked deeply into her frightened face. We can't live here. Earth is doomed. It's a long shot in the dark going to Mars. I know that. But we'll be dead in a week in any event. Isn't it better to die trying to get to Mars than just to sit here and wait for the end? Besides, we can't let the human race go extinct. We've got to go. Mom suddenly gave me a significant look, and I felt a chill run down my spine. I didn't know why at the time, but now I can guess what she was thinking. "But what will we eat?" she said, turning back to Dad. "How will we breathe, for heaven's sakes?" "That's what we've got to figure out in the next 24 hours. Mom always told me that Dad was a good provider. He had a steady job, and despite his hectic schedule, he always made time for us. But providing never got down to stuff like air. Somehow I suspected that was out of his league. I tried holding my breath to see how long I was going to last on Mars. For the next few hours, I was pushed around here and there like an old dog at a cocktail party. If I'd listened good, I'm sure I'd got enough education to be called doctor, but this is all I picked up from all the talk. We were going to hijack some fancy new spaceship, load it up with Snickers bars and spare parts from the back room, blast off into space, and pray like Elijah that somebody could figure out how to build a house on Mars out of candy bar wrappers. I guess I didn't really believe it was all happening. It was plenty exciting, But I expected some French guy with a black vest and a little cigar to walk out of the corner and say, "Cut! Cut!" But he didn't. And as the excitement started seeping in, it got scarier and scarier. This wasn't just talk. We were really leaving. Not just home, but the planet, Earth, everything that had ever meant anything to any human being. I started shaking from the bones on out. For about an hour, I just sat there and stared at the wall, too scared to move or talk. I guess Mom figured I couldn't get into any trouble like that, so she ran home to grab a few essentials, including the lasagna, Little Miss Toilet Bowl, and then we were rushed onto the little airplane. At first I thought this puny twin-engine thing was the super spaceship that was supposed to take us all the way to Mars, and that scared me more than anything had so far. It looked too small and, well, unspace-like for all that. "Where's all the gear?" I asked in panic. "We can't survive on Mars with just this stuff," I said, looking around frantically for something that could possibly be made into a spacesuit or a sandwich. Mom and Dad were busy with their own thoughts and didn't pay me no mind. I started shaking again and was about to cry in complete despair, but just then the pilot turned around and set me straight. "This plane is just taking us to Cape Canaveral, Billy. Do you want to sit up here and help me fly?" All right, that's Billy's Chapter 3. Hope you liked it, Gracie Poo.